Boom! Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Tons of reprint drama happening online. Are reprints confirmed? Are they not? What does that mean for the market? We are going to answer those questions and more, so stay tuned, sit back, relax, and welcome to PokeMarketLab. All right, folks, let's get into it. So lots of drama happening online. It would not be a day in the Pokemon world without some drama. And this one is regarding reprints. And so we've all been expecting some form and some level of reprints for sets. And there was some news about this on Monday. This started with PokeDeals nerd Danny from X. Great account, a little bit of drama. If you would pour drama, probably not the account for you, but they post some pretty good deals and from eBay and across the web. So great X account to follow. So they posted confirmed reprints to come very, very soon and listed a few different sets here. Did not provide any other information, no source or anything like that, no screenshots, no receipts, as the kids call them these days. Tons of engagement, 220,000 views, and it kind of set the Pokemon community ablaze, we'll call it that, right? All right, Brian from PokeMarketLab, if you're not familiar with him, he's got a very successful YouTube channel as well as an online store that sells Japanese and English Pokemon. So he put out a video on, I believe it was Tuesday, not the video you see here. This was a different one that he has subsequently taken down, kind of calling Danny out regarding all the, again, posting that we have reprints coming. She knew what was going to happen with that when she posted it in terms of setting the community ablaze, and without posting sources, he was just kind of calling her out on that a bit. He is subsequently again taking that video down and now put an apology video out there. And what happened was we did get some more information from a trusted source. This is Eli from PokeMart saying, yes, we have some reprints coming. So he's got this huge program that you can join up where you pay a certain amount a month, it gets you access to distribution prices, so on and so forth. So a little bit, it's not screenshots necessarily, but that's a pretty solid source of information. We also got this screenshot from one of the distributors here showing the reprint. So it's going to be Surging Sparks booster boxes, Twilight Masquerade booster boxes, Paldea Evolved booster boxes, Obsidian Flames booster boxes, and Paldean Fates booster bundles. Again, so we do not have, I have some distribution sources. I don't have access to distro. I have some friends that have access to distribution. They have not, I asked them to confirm, they do not have information from their distributors. So their distributors are in the dark right now. When I say distributors, there's a bunch of distributors. I think there's at least, there's 4 or 5 pretty large ones. You got MagX, Southern Hobby being a couple of them. So not all, this could have come from one distributor, but that doesn't mean everyone's on the same page yet. So I would say this is about 50% confirmed at this point. So that's kind of the update on the drama. Let's get into what we think it's going to do to the market, if anything. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go box by box by box here and just talk about what that reprint means for the market and so on. So one caveat I want to throw out there, when distribution gets a restock from the Pokemon Company, distribution sets that price. So what'll typically happen, pre-orders, pre-release for a product for a set, is going to be about that $100 price point. That's pretty standard. When they get these restocks and reprints, distribution will set whatever price they want. So they will capitalize on the secondary market. They're not going to sell it at secondary market prices, but it will be at a premium. It's not going to be at that $100 price point. So the delta between what distribution is charging your LGS to give them that product, or again, these large online retailers like Game Nerds, PokeMarketLab, all these places, right? That delta is not like it was on pre-release, meaning there's less margin there going into the market. So there's pressure to put it into the market at pretty high prices. Again, not at the 220 we see here on Paldea Evolved, but it's not going to get to market at super cheap. Okay, so that's a caveat throwing that out there. The other thing, we do not know what the size of these reprints are. If you remember back to when we got Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flame reprints, they were pretty, I don't want to say minor, they were middle of the road. They really didn't touch the market almost in any way, shape, or form. We were in a fairly hot market at the time, so the market just gobbled them up. The word I've heard for these reprints is meaningful. So probably a pretty decent reprint. And again, let's go through each set now and talk about what it could do to that market. So let's look at Paldea Evolved right now. This is the first regular set in Scarlet and Violet era. Was the only darling in the Scarlet and Violet era before things started to pop off when Twilight Masquerade came out. So Paldea was the only thing that was really the only set that was actually doing anything. So this is sitting at $220 on TCG Player right now. It's sold extremely well. Again, that Magic Carp has really carried the set. It's a solid set. It's not my favorite set in the Scarlet and Violet era, but it's extremely good. It's old. I don't want to say old. It's still in rotation, but it's older. It's obviously older than most of the sets in Scarlet and Violet. So I was a little surprised to see them going back to the well on so substantially on earlier boxes that have already had a reprint. Again, there's quite a bit of stuff out there that needs reprints. We have sets coming out that need reprints, so I was surprised to see them go so far back. We have no idea when the order for these reprints was put in. The Pokemon Company owns Millennium Print Group. They have a lot of control of what they can do. They have total control over what they can do for reprints, but they still take time to get through the system. So the fact that this reprint comes along with Paldea, Obsidian, Paldean, as well as Surging Sparks makes me think that they pulled the trigger on reprints when Surging Sparks was getting hyped before release, which would have been in the September-ish, October-ish timeframe. So that's pushing 6 months. So I think that kind of jives. That makes sense if that order kind of went through for booster boxes, that it would be hitting about now. Again, I'm just surprised that they're going back to sets like Paldea and Obsidian when we got like Paradox and Temporal and Stellar Crown that needs a reprint. There's so many other modern things that need reprints. So there's still quite a few Paldea boxes out in the market. We get 300 listed here. I don't know if any of that is, you could see people scramble to try to get rid of boxes, but the market is just so darn strong. So if this is a much more substantial reprint than the initial one, and again, I'm not saying it is, we have no idea, then it could certainly, I really don't see any massive pullback here, but I think the $200 would probably be a reasonable for this set. Remember, there's lots of other boxes pushing towards that $200 price point now. So I don't see, again, unless it's massive, I don't see a world in which this drops below 200. And if it does, it doesn't drop much. Remember, the demand in the market is dynamic. Okay. If you're not willing, if you think $220 for Paldea right now is too expensive, if it dropped to 150, that brings in a substantial number of buyers. And there's lots of the slicing of that pie that would happen before that. Meaning, if it hits 200, there's a bunch more people who are going to jump in and get it, right? So it's going to pull a lot more demand back into the market if it starts to drop. And that's true of any of these products. So let's move on here to Twilight Masquerade, a fairly recent set that's done extremely well. So again, this is right up there with Paldea Evolved, sitting about 220, 225 here. Much fewer boxes listed on TCG Player. Certainly needs a reprint. This one makes total sense to me. And I think this will probably, again, depending on the size of this will drop the market down. So again, boxes aren't going to hit the market at $100 a pop. They're not going to hit your LGS at $100 a pop. LGSs are going to take a slice of that pie, and they're not going to put these, they're going to move them. They're going to put them in the market, but there's no pressure for them, given the demand, for them to sell them at, 160, 170. If I put Twilight Masquerade boxes up here, if I bought 20 of them at $190 a pop, they'll probably sell within 24 hours. There's just so much demand, and I don't see the reprints. I really don't see a world where these reprints change that all that much. Surging Sparks is in the same boat here. Very expensive box, pushing 270 here on a very, very recent set. So this is only 6 months old. So this is absolutely needs it. And I truly believe, I wonder if they definitely put in that order right when that hype was starting to happen in October here. And then we're getting the results of that. I wonder if they saw the writing on the wall and said, hey, let's do a reprint. Let's put in a reprint with Paldea, with Twilight, and try to calm the market down here with some booster boxes. Makes total sense to me. And again, I think if this drops to, I would find it hard to believe this drops below 200. I think it gets anywhere near 200 and a ton of people start jumping in on this product. Paldean Fates booster bundles. Paldean Fates is a Fantastic set. Fantastic set. We absolutely need Paldean Fates in the market. I'm curious as to why. Again, there's a lot of things in the behind the scenes in terms of manufacturing this kind of product, right? Their ETB lines may be tied up. Remember, Paldean Fates is a specialty set, so in order to get regular ETBs out, they have to line that up with ETB production. On these specialty sets, they've been, they did this with 151, and they didn't touch the ETBs again. They did booster bundles. I don't know if that's because of production issues. I don't know if that's just on purpose so they don't touch that, but they're doing booster boxes for mainline sets. So I don't know. My guess is now that they're doing it on this like this, where they're doing the booster bundles instead of the ETBs, at least for now, that could change, that there's something to do with manufacturing that just they're easier. It's easier to get the booster bundles out than is the ETBs. I would have thought the ETBs would have been easier, but who knows? Long story short, we need reprints for Paldean Fates. Bundles have sold incredibly well. Look at that volume. These are sitting right at $60 here. This is a very, very young set to be climbing like this. This is right up there with Crown Zenith right now. And again, Paldean Fates is great, but Crown Zenith's older, and we need more product for Paldean Fates. If you look at this, this is how few of these were out in the market. There's less than 3,000 of these sold in the last year, with only 100 listed here. So I just think this was just not enough of this out of the market, and the demand for this has gone through the roof. All right, and the last one here, Obsidian Flames. This is the one that I think is the most risky from a reprint standpoint in terms of what it could do to the boxes. We know the pull rate situation on Obsidian Flames. We know it's tough. We know it's easy. We know it's tough for the singles. It's hard for the singles to perform with pull rates like that. And if this gets into the market and starts dropping this, if it's substantial enough, I think these boxes do pull back to that MSRP price point. And I think this is a prime candidate for rip and shippers to be grabbing packs again, right? So you get closer to that MSRP. And what happens when rip and shippers happen, what happens when people start cracking boxes of this again when it's cheaper, is we get more and more singles into the market. So I think Obsidian Flames is probably is the weakest. It has the least armor to be resilient to this reprint. And I think the singles are going to suffer the most. I think you're absolutely going to get more pack ripping, and those singles are just going to get more and more and more into the market. And we really don't have, it just doesn't have that resiliency from a card standpoint here to hold up. There's some cards here that have climbed up pretty fast that could probably use some more cards on the market. Looking at Gloom. But again, there's none of these listings here, even the SRs that are in short supply. I mean, this is the top SR from the set. It's Charizard EX. Here, let's go to near mint listings. There's over 138 of these on the market. So just the pull rates mean anyone's cracking boxes. There's just you're getting, pack for pack, box for box. You're just getting more SRs into the market than other sets. So this one, especially from a single standpoint, if you're looking to pick up any of these singles or holding on them, I just your opportunity sells maybe now, but I think we're going to see a lot more singles in the market. So that's my take on the reprints today. It's not, if you're holding boxes, if you were going to sell, or if you wanted to sell, don't sell now, right? Hold on to the boxes. If you wanted to sell, this you should have already sold. This is the seller's market. I don't think this changes the market all that much. I think it's some of the choices are odd. Again, when you're holding these boxes, anything under, if boxes are in rotation, generally speaking, that means they are a potential for reprints. So the question on all of this, and what I'm waiting for, is the size of those reprints. I think the size of those reprints is going to inform us moving forward. It's going to inform the market moving forward. And I think those earlier sets people are going to have much more trepidation purchasing those earlier sets. From a reprint standpoint. I know personally I'm going to have some trepidation. It should give everyone trepidation about buying boxes at the high, and that this is what can happen if you have boxes long term. If you're holding long term, it's nothing to fret. If you're a 5-year holder or more, this is not going to change anything. In fact, it's going to give you potentially some opportunity to get into boxes that you've already seen can perform well. And so to have that retrospect, to be able to look behind and say, hey, this box can perform, the market's willing to perform on this, is a strong signal that there's confidence in those boxes. So we'll see what happens. I'll bring you the news if we get anything else on this. And that's it for today on PokeMarketLab. We'll see you on the next one.